My name is Jacob King, and today I am here with
James Hawkins.
Mr. James. You came all the way from Australia to be here. Um, how did you first get behind the wheel, and what was that experience like for you?
Oh, mate. First time I drove a car, I was 10 years old, man. It was crazy. I just learned how to ride a motorbike, two-stroke, like Kawasaki 80, power band, everything like that. And my friend's dad owned a dealership, and they had this old, like, Datsun. It was like, I don't know, late 60s, 70s, Datsun 1000 Sunny. And it was sitting in the junk out the back. And he asked his dad, "Hey, Dad, can I drive that thing around?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure. If you can get it running, you can drive it around." He's like, "Oh, okay, cool." So he went to the mechanics next door. He's like, "Hey, can you help me get this car running?" And then they came over, jump started it, and it started and ran. And he's like, "Oh gosh, what have I done now?" And then so like we're just terrorizing around in like the bush in that car. He learned how to drive first. He was like 11 years old, and I was 10, and I was just in the car with him. You know, it's gravel tracks, trees. We're just going sideways, sideways, sideways. And then next day he's like, "All right, your turn." And I'm like, "No way, man, I can't drive this car. I'm going to get in trouble, you know." And he's like, "Just jump in." It's the same as a motorbike, except, you know, the gears are on the floor and the clutch is on the floor. And I was like, okay, so like, I'm like driving slowly. And he's like, "Boring, go sideways," and like yanks the steering wheel and just, when we turn in the corner and just, he's like, "Punch it." And so put it down and just dropped it sideways. And from that point on, I just had that feeling, that rush, you know, and we were just belting heck out of that car, and yeah, driving around the bush track for ages. And I don't know, just had a natural skill to be able to pick up riding anything, dirt bikes, cars, whatever, go-karts, everything.
That's insane. James, you have 3 different engineering degrees, right, which is unheard of for, race car drivers and just in the race car world as a whole. Um, how has that shaped your approach to the space?
Yeah, so I think it's one thing to be able to drive a car, but then I've noticed there's a gap between the driver's feedback and the engineers, and like the driver's feedback and the mechanics and setting up the car. It's, you know, a driver can say like the car feels loose coming out the corner. How do you then turn that into a change to make to the car? And did the mechanics adjust that correctly? Could they have adjusted it more or less? Whereas like if I'm making that change myself, understanding how the car's feeling, I can really optimize the car and give critical engineering feedback in engineering terms to the engineers to how to make the car perform at its best.
James, you say you can jump into any car, no matter the make, the model, the year, anything, push it to its limits and win. What makes you so adaptable?
You know, I heard, I met with Randy Post, and we had a day together. We were working with automotive addiction, just doing driver instruction. And something he said was very unique and stood out to me. He said, people that have grown up riding dirt bikes and motorbikes on the road, we've got a very intimate reaction and feel to do with when a tire is starting to slip on the ground. On a motorbike, you know, you have to be very aware with that, otherwise you're going to crash. So especially dirt bike, you get a good feel when you're dropping it sideways and everything. And so transitioning then into a car, because we have that feel, that skill developed, it adds another dimension to driving vehicles. And so just growing up, driving a variety of different things on the limit, I can just jump into anything. And I can drive manual as well. A lot of people in America they don't drive stick. But being able to understand and to feel out different vehicles and just put them on the limit, having fun growing up, it's sort of become just an inherent part of who I am as a person and my skill set.
Now, James, I know we've talked a little bit, outside of the cameras and everything. You told me you want to join the worst F1 team and make it a winning team overall. You want to change that brand you want to change that brand as a whole. What's your overarching mission? What is it that you want to accomplish, when all is said and done?
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think it comes down to just helping people. And I've noticed a few things as I've grown up. Anytime I enter a competition, engineering competition, designed to build something, I've just had a way of entering that space. Doesn't matter what it is. It's not even necessarily related to cars, just engineering in general, building a popsicle stick bridge, using a mouse trap to power a little model car, seeing who can go the furthest, being able to combine all of the engineering principles and to optimize something without having to do too many iterations to get a really well put together package. That's been my skill. And so being a driver with the engineering and the mechanics, like mechanical skills that I've got, the hands-on skills, as well as the fabricating, I've welded, built a lot of different projects over the years. To be able to put that all together into one package, and the competition, like just being the underdog, you know, coming from like the last, no one's expecting anything, and then to get in there, transform a team, turn them into winners, into world champions, it hasn't been done before. And I think that would be really exciting, not only for myself, but just for the audience in general.
James, what do you want people to remember about you and your journey specifically?
Oh, mate, the hustle. Like, the hustle is real. I've just got such a unique skill set with people watch me work on cars and they're like, wow, I've never seen someone work on a car like this before. And people are like, where do you get that idea from? And they just know how good I am. An example of this would be like just a month and a half ago, I drove across to Nebraska. I was in my BMW. Oil light comes on. I'm like, oh shoot, there's no oil pressure in this engine. I just topped off the oil half a quart, half a litre, and for the metric system people, like half an hour ago. And the car oil light comes on. I shifted into neutral, turn the engine off, pull over the side on the freeway. I'm 14 hours drive away from home. It's about to go sub-zero temperatures at night. What do you do? And for me, my rule of thumb is I've never called a tow truck. That's like me putting out the white flag.
That's capping out. Yeah.
I'm like, I've never put out the white flag. I'm like, I've always got myself out of every situation that I've been in. I carry a toolbox in the back of my car, just a small 3-drawer one. And I'm like, cool, it's an interesting problem. I can't disassemble the bottom of the engine to get to the oil pump. I found out that it had no oil pressure. The shaft had snapped on the pump. A little bit of research on the internet I did. I checked, verified that by just taking the oil filter housing off, giving it a quick start, no oil came out. I was like, man, we're stuck here, like completely stuck.
You said a little bit of research you did online, so
You can find, if there's a problem with a car, like a pretty like common problem, you'll see something on YouTube, whatever. So it's like, you know, BMW, no oil pressure, what's going on? It's like, oh, the oil pump shaft snaps, which is horrible. That shouldn't be part of a design in the car. They should be able to engineer for those circumstances so you don't fail a pump shaft by fatigue. Anyway, that's what happened. So I'm like, cool, how do I get oil pressure to my engine? Stuck in the middle of nowhere on the side of the freeway. I was next to a small little town and I was like, I got an idea. So I got some hose fittings, metric hose fittings. I unscrewed the oil pan drain plug, screwed a hose fitting in there. Then I cut my power steering lines, connected one of them to the drain plug of the oil pan to the power steering pump, then went from the power steering pump into the high pressure oil sensor on the engine. I took the oil pressure sensor out and screwed it into the high pressure oil feed line, and I ran the engine off the power steering pump, believe it or not, for another 300 miles until I got it just to where I needed to get to. So that's an example of just crazy off the wall thinking ideas, combining all of that skill set together with, you know, doing absolutely anything with nothing, basically.
what is the biggest thing that you like about America and the American culture and
gosh,
just
man.
being here as a whole?
I love America, man. The opportunity that's around for anybody to just take advantage of is surreal. It's totally different to Australia in that way. I'm from Perth, which is very isolated. They say Perth, the end of the earth, right? Most isolated city in the world, we got voted. And it's true. It's like 2 million people. It would be equivalent to living in California and then having nothing until like New Jersey, just desert basically. So I was very isolated. I outgrew that place really quickly. And then coming to America and just seeing the hustle and how you can make anything happen with nothing, basically, just providing value to people and networking. Everyone's all about networking, and then opportunities are coming about. You're just driving all over the country, meeting people. It's just totally different.
And how can fans and even family members, you know, people that aren't involved in the F1 and F3 space, kind of help you and other drivers in their journeys?
Oh, mate, just get me out there, get me known, get a name for me, spread the word. Follow me on Instagram. It's very easy. It's James from Perth, because I'm from Perth, Australia. So follow me on Instagram, give me follows. Look at my YouTube. I'm just starting to pump out more and more content now, and just it's all about just getting seen, basically.
Yeah. James, you say that you want to go from F3 to F1. What are some of the steps that you're taking as you're building along in your career?
Yeah, so making a brand for myself. Like I said, I'm just finishing up the tail end of the 3rd engineering degree, and so that's going to free up a whole amount of time.
A lot of time.
Oh yeah. So, and hence meeting people like yourself, Jacob, and just networking out. I just went to the Grant Cardone conference, 10X conference this weekend. Fantastic. Met a lot of people there as well. So just continuing to get my name out there, basically.
Sure.
Yep.
And James, one last question for you. If you had the intention of everybody in the world, right, people that like you, people that don't like you, old people, young people, what are you saying?
Just go for your dreams, man. Just go for, like, I really believe that you've been given God inherent skills, and that we need to do whatever excites us. And if you follow what is exciting in your life, the doors will just start opening. And just don't doubt your abilities. Don't doubt if it's meant to happen. You'll see that progress, the doors opening, and to just go for it. Don't worry about how. How's the biggest killer of belief? Answering that one question, how am I going to do this? Everyone's like, how are you going to do that? It's like, I don't know how. I don't need to know how. Just wake up the next day, take the next step forward. Ideas will just randomly come. You can't predict the future at all. So how can you know you're not going to make it? You can't. So just asking critical questions like that to yourself helps you then have more belief in yourself, and just keep pushing forward.
So James, I thank you for your time, man.
No worries, thanks, Jacob.